Back now with a panel, Democratic pollster Cornell Belcher. He's an NBC News analyst. Wall Street Journal columnist Peggy Noonan, also an NBC News analyst. Our chief White House correspondent here at NBC News, Hallie Jackson, and the editor of National Review, and a man who was up late watching UVA get to the Final Four because he's an alum, Rich Lowry. You are in a much better mood this morning, I imagine, than you would be. Let me play. The president had a couple paths that go down after getting some good news on Sunday, as far as he was concerned. Here was the president at his first campaign rally, post-Barr/Mueller report.
There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. Those people will certainly be looked at.
The Russia witch hunt was a plan by those who lost the election to try and illegally regain power. Sick. These are sick people.
Peggy, maybe I'm stuck in a time warp that thinks that, boy, you have a political opportunity, take it. Yeah. He could have gone down one path. One is that path, the Uma Thurman Kill Bill path, right? Trying to take revenge. Or he could have cornered the Democratic Party this week and said, all right, I'm ready for infrastructure, let's go.
Yeah.
But he went down the revenge path.
Somebody said when it was announced that the Trump White House was going to now push on health care once again after having been unsuccessful the first time. Reporter said to a White House official, "Why are you doing health care?" And the White House official said, "Too much good news. Have to change the subject." So there was an element of that. It would have been wonderful to see the president. There's something a little surprising. He was angry when the good news came in. Didn't you get the impression that he was feeling anger when you
He loves the grievance, so yeah.
Well, relief and generosity would have been nice. A little history of how we got there, then put it away. Then, as you say, and as I agree, go forward on infrastructure. He is the builder. America wants to build. Dems are for it. Reps are for it. Go, go, go.
Well, there was consternation inside the West Wing among the president's allies about their whole plan, because let me take you back to like 6 days ago, because not just the Barr summary came out, Chuck, but you also had the guy who was his chief nemesis, Michael Avenatti, got arrested. You had his best pal, Bibi Netanyahu, over at the White House giving him some wine. He was riding high, and then in a matter of 24 hours, that'll change because of this filing deadline on the Affordable Care Act and that lawsuit. And there was real concern, I'm told by my sources, on the part of, for example, Vice President Pence, not a disagreement on the policy, but a disagreement on exactly this, the tactics. Where do you go from here? Because they could see that people like Senator Barrasso are going to get hammered by people asking questions like, where is the plan? Do you have a plan? There was also some questions from the lawyers on the legal viability of this argument. Now, the president, I don't think it's that surprising that he went full revenge mode. He was so mad for 2 years about this. So this was like a moment for him to, grind the grievance axe.
But Rich, when he wonders, why is he sitting at 43 to 46%, I would just say, Exhibit A.
Well, this is true, but I mean, he was genuinely angry because you have to think of it a little bit from his perspective. So he fires James Comey, as far as I can tell, because Comey refused to say publicly what he was telling Trump privately, which is, sir, you are not under investigation. As soon as he fires him, he's under investigation for 2 solid years, with some people, serious people, suggesting he's committed acts of treason. And I do think there should be an investigation of the investigators, not to wreak vengeance on anyone, because I do think this process went off the rails. We let a garbage oppo gathered from Russian sources by an ex-foreign spy, the so-called dossier, distort our politics for 2 solid years.
Should Lindsey Graham be the guy investigating this, considering the weird relationship he had with the dossier itself?
Lindsey switched around on a lot of stuff. But look, I would say, I know this isn't going to happen, but I feel as though this should be like after the conclusion of the Starr report, where all fair-minded people on both sides say, let's never do this way again.
You want to take this first?
Go
Because I don't know where to start. This stinks, and this is why it stinks. Can you imagine for one moment if Democrats had taken the Starr memo and said, you know what, this exonerates president, nothing really to see here, that Newt Gingrich's head would have exploded. Look, this is part of the problem with Americans think of what's wrong with Washington, is that there's no transparency. If, in fact, he's innocent, and by the way, Barr didn't say exonerated him completely. If, in fact, he's innocent, put it out there and let us all see it. You know, the number that's striking from the Wall Street Journal poll to me is 19. Only 19% of independents think that this clears the president. And you know what? As an operative myself, you know, I got to say, when you're giving your polling data to the Russians as a pollster, it's kind of hard. You say that you're not colluding.
By the way, I do want to put up this number here. This is paying a lot of attention to news coverage. on various, we do this all the time in our poll. Put this up. Look where the Mueller report sits compared to other major events over the last couple of years. The Orlando shooting at the Pulse nightclub, the spread of Ebola, Access Hollywood tape. People who watched a lot of news coverage on the Mueller report, it's sitting at a 39, Peggy.
Yeah.
It is one of these things where understandably why all of us are into it.
Yeah.
And because it's an important investigation. But the middle of the country, I think, that's who this is.
The middle of the country in America in 2019 has been used for decades to watching Washington do its thing and have its partisan investigations, and they do filter it out, I think, to a good degree. I'm sure they're all happy to have an answer now. I have a feeling the president's foes are never going to let this whole Mueller thing, the investigation, go. I think the Mueller report, once it is made public, to the degree it is made public, and then we'll all argue about that, is going to be seen less as a definitive, too explicit Starr report and more like, oh, we can do Warren report on this for the next few years and pull every thread we see.
What are we going to be debating more in the next 6 months, though, Hallie? Obamacare? Or are we going to be debating the full release of the Mueller report? I don't think we're going to be debating what's in the Mueller report for a while. I think we're going to be debating the full release, but what matters more?
It's definitely, I think, the healthcare law. I mean, and I think when you look at the numbers and when you look at what people are interested in, and when you look at what people are talking about on the 2020 campaign trail, specifically Democrats, they are not talking about Russia and the Mueller report. Now, that said, the president, and there are those around him who do see this as it's essentially a political cudgel to be able to use against Democrats. So, for example, this deadline issue, Bill Barr came out in that letter and said mid-April. I'm told by folks inside the White House, their stance is going to be, we're okay with that, and we're going to blast the Democrats for demanding it by Tuesday.
This counterintuitively could be a reason why this outcome hurts the president, because Russia was always a blind alley for the Democrats. The case against Trump is not that he's a Russian spy or he's a proto-fascist or any of that. It's what Nancy Pelosi's been trying to do. He's a conventional Republican masquerading as a populist with all the same Republican policies. That is the more powerful case.
That's a fascinating way to put it. I'm going to pause it there because that's a dangerous place for Trump to be because he ran as something not as that. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.